I always start showing about 10 slides, just as a background of what I think is important and what guides me in some of the judgments I have to make. So if I can have the first slide. This is a slide that shows federal deficits, and since it's a deficit, the bigger the deficit, the further down it is. As you take in, it kind of worked its way up, and last year, or 2 years ago in 2014, it went to about 400 billion, and then now it's come back. It's increased more now. So the next slide actually shows pictorially our deficit if you express it. The last slide expressed it just in actual dollars, inflation-adjusted dollars.
You work for us! We want answers!
If we could have quiet and show respect. Ladies and gentlemen, I said I was going to conduct this town hall the same way I've conducted every town hall I've conducted. I always start.
As your moderator, I've been told that the congressman only has about 10 slides. These 10 slides are going to cover some of the things that you're all going to want to know. The healthcare bill, some of the other things. It's like 10 slides.
The second one in that slide's wrong. It's reform Medicaid, not Medicare. Medicare we're leaving alone in the ACA reform. If you look at total Medicaid spending, this starts in 2009, 7 years ago. It was under $400 billion a year. We're now at 2018, fiscal year 2018, we're at $600 billion a year. And within 7 years, we will be at $900 billion a year, 2.5 times where we were in 2009. But in a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, the only randomized study ever to look at what happens when someone gets Medicaid versus not getting Medicaid, it looked over a 2-year period on most outcome measures. They could detect no difference whether you got Medicaid or didn't, because our Medicaid program just plain doesn't deliver what it should do. Good news, last slide. But if we really want to deal with the cost of health care, we have to start dealing with the big diseases. And it's beyond just taking care of insurance, well, that's important. This slide shows the effect of Alzheimer's and the cost of Alzheimer's to America. The federal government spent $160 billion treating patients with Alzheimer's on Medicaid and Medicare. $160 billion a year. Projected to increase by 2050, when the baby boomers are fully aged, to $735 billion. We expect the number of people with Alzheimer's disease to roughly increase by 150. Ma'am, if you yell one more time like that, I'm going to ask the
Congressman Harris, do you still support eliminating the $79 million for the cleanup of the Bay?
$79 million is money in the EPA budget. The president, of course, building up the defense budget, said he needs to find savings elsewhere. Said one of the areas is the EPA, and proposed eliminating the $79 billion that's annually put into a fund. Okay, so there's $79 billion a year appropriated to the several states that surround the Chesapeake Bay to pay for Chesapeake Bay cleanup. It includes money that goes to farmers and other things. And it's not just Maryland, it's Pennsylvania, New York, very important because they're the headwaters of the Bay, that's where pollution comes. Now, we need to preserve the Chesapeake Bay. We need to preserve the $79 billion. Nobody disagrees with that. We need to make sure that $79 million is spent wisely, and it's spent in a way that makes sure that we don't hurt our economy. But that can be done pretty easily. So I will advocate for the $79 million to remain in the budget, and making sure that that $79 million, that portion, it's a small portion spent in Maryland on the Eastern Shore, is spent in a way that, again, helps our farmers, doesn't hurt our farmers, and in the way it is now, a lot of it does. It goes to programs that actually help them reduce pollution.
You are a physician. Why have you... I can't read this.
Okay, I'm a physician. Why have you co-sponsored I tell you, doctors read the other doctor's handwriting. We can read it. Why have you co-sponsored a bill that repeals nutrition standards for school lunches and breakfasts, and why would you vote to declassify methane and other polluting gases as non-polluting? Okay, let me answer the first one. It's about H.R. 610. H.R. 610 is a bill that addresses the fact that what it does is it says the federal government has got to get out of the education business because it doesn't help. Because the best education decisions are not made in Washington, D.C., in the Federal Triangle. They're made in your local jurisdiction. Your local school board knows best how to teach students in that jurisdiction. You don't need someone in Washington, and you don't need someone in Annapolis telling you how to do it. How many of you yelling no are from Baltimore City?
This is the Eastern Shore!
Oh, I've got 2 people from Baltimore City. You are lucky here that you don't have underperforming schools. But there are people in the state, places like Baltimore City, places like Prince George's County, where those schools are underperforming, they're failing, and your tax dollars go to those schools right now. I think that we shouldn't reward failing school districts with federal tax dollars. We should let the states give the states the money and let them figure out how to do it.
Will you still be able to sleep at night if you were to repeal the ACA? When the first people on Medicare expansion die due to lack of health insurance.
Let's put up slide 5. Can we go to slide 5, shows the study? That's the best way I can answer that question about Medicaid. The fact of the matter is, look, it's an inconvenient truth that Medicaid, the outcomes on people who are given Medicaid, put on Medicaid, in a scientific study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, the only randomized study showed there's no better outcome. We need to reform Medicaid. We need to turn it back to the states, so the states make the decision what's best for their people.
Why do you selectively defund a healthcare provider which delivers only safe, essential, and legal services to women?
Not only women, but men. Everyone should be able to choose their healthcare provider. You know, remember, we were promised with the Affordable Care Act, if you like your doctor, you can keep them, you couldn't. Let's get to the point of this question. You should choose whatever provider you want. But a majority of Americans believe that taxpayer dollars should not be used to fund abortions.
Will you support USDA funding for development of affordable housing?
Yeah, I do every year.
Planned Parenthood provides valuable and crucial health care for thousands in our district. Why would you possibly want to defund them?
Because if you look actually in the district and you look nationally, health care, if you want real comprehensive health care, I don't mean just the small amount of services that Planned Parenthood provides. If you believe in truly comprehensive health care, you would support the community health clinics. There are more than 13 community health clinics for every Planned Parenthood clinic. And these community health clinics do things like mammograms, do things like all the screening necessary. And they do it without spending taxpayer dollars in an organization that does abortion.
Where do you stand on super PAC money in elections?
When I was in the state Senate, Senator Pinsky was from Prince George's County. He had proposed a campaign finance reform bill, actually going to public funding. And I offered actually to co-sponsor with him on one condition. that in addition to disallowing a lot of those bigger contributions, we actually said that the labor unions also can't contribute. This seems fair. It's either everybody can get in or no one can get in. He said that wasn't possible. Now, ladies and gentlemen, until we get all the big money out, that's
Dark money!
until we get all the big money out, we have to be careful about limiting some people's ability and not others.
Dr. Harris, I am an American, in parentheses, of Korean descent, and my parents entered the U.S. legally. It makes me so sad to qualify myself this way after having living almost my entire life in Maryland. But the rhetoric of your party made that necessary. Are you aware that the Trump administration's agenda for a wall, a ban, and punishment for sanctuary cities are alienating U.S. citizens?
As you know, I'm the son of immigrants. I understand how important immigration is to what America is. But the fact of the matter is, we have immigration laws. And a lot of people who come to this country, like my parents and perhaps the writer of the question, come to this country because we are a nation of laws. And I've visited other countries in the world, and it's very interesting because in other countries, we assume that everywhere in the world they follow laws. They don't. So what we have to ask the question is, should we insist that immigration laws be followed? I would offer that the answer is yes. Now, should we do it compassionately? Yes, we should. But having open borders and what truly was a catch and release program does no one any good. The only law regarding immigration ever can be federal law. That's the way the Constitution's written. Federal law preempts every other, and it makes sense. This immigration law has to do about whether you're immigrating to America or not. Do we need immigrants? Yeah, we need immigrants. Do we need temporary workers especially? Yes, we do. Here on the Eastern Shore, huge needs. Huge needs for our agriculture industry, for our tourism industry, for our seafood processing industry. But the fact of the matter is, we expect people to come here as immigrants, obeying the law. But I believe we have to follow the rule. If we don't like the immigration laws, then change the immigration laws.